I'm here to introduce our guest speaker from the Federation, Jackie DeMartini. She's been a member since 1998 and has held several leadership positions at the club level, the region level, and now Federation. So she's excited about participating in strategic planning and program development for our initiatives. And the board got to spend an evening with Jackie a few days ago, and we really enjoyed our time with her, as I'm sure you will today too. So please give a warm Western Canada welcome to Jackie DeMartini. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think I'm there. Hello, everyone. As she said, thank you very much, Donna, for that wherever you might be introduction. And it was a very enjoyable evening when we had our Healthy Region conversation the other night. Excuse me. So I'll go ahead and give you the spiel that I need to, and then I would like us all to have a conversation, if you wouldn't mind. So as a Federation board member, I have accepted the highest level of leadership in our Federation. I have done this because I wholeheartedly am committed to ensuring Seroptimus can achieve our 2021 to 2031 big goal to invest in the dreams of 500,000 women and girls through access to education. I bring my talents and skills and passion to the board of directors, but what you might not know is that not only do I give much of my time and energy to Seroptimus at my club and Federation level, but I also support our organization financially. And let me give you a personal example of why. Picture this, okay? This is the first part of 2020. It's the beginning of the pandemic. And I was asked to make a phone call from headquarters. So I make this phone call. And first I'm wondering, is anyone going to actually answer my phone? Because this is the day of spam and all that kind of thing. And my area code is so far out of the area code in which I'm calling. Y'all have gotten those phone calls wanting, you know, is your car warranty expired? But a woman did answer hesitantly. And in the background, I hear noises of life. I hear the TV, I hear kids, I hear the kitchen noise. You know what I'm talking about. And I introduce myself as a Seroptimist. And she goes, yes, I know Seroptimus. Hold on a minute while I go outside so I can hear better. And now I'm hearing a lot of traffic noise going by, and I hear cars driving by, but the kids' noises have quieted down. At that time, I was able to give her a gift to both her and myself. And I was able to tell her that she was awarded the Live Your Dream Award from the Federation of $10,000. She went really, really quiet. In a real small voice, she said, really? She goes, you have no idea what this means to me and my family. And she thanked me. Just recalling that, it gets me every time. We spoke for a few more minutes and then we hung up. This is an example of why I am a Seroptimist and why I contribute. And just to let you know, you can read more about Sandra's story on seroptimist.org. And just like a starfish, I made a small part in helping change someone else's life, of which I know I'm speaking to the choir here. There are several things that I know that to be true. I know education is the best tool for women and girls to achieve economic empowerment, and that economic empowerment is the most effective way to permanently transform a woman and girl's life. I know our dream programs are the best way to provide access to education and increase that economic empowerment for women and girls. I know that members, clubs, regions, and leaders at all levels need to make the dream programs the focus of our work in charitable giving for us all to succeed. I know that when clubs and regions align activities with our 2021-2031 big goal, we will be better known for our impact. And when we reach our big goal, we will have left a positive impact on the lives of women and girls. We will also have transformed our organization, leaving a Seroptimus legacy that each of us will be proud to tell our granddaughters, and great-granddaughters about. I know that by financially supporting not just your club, but your region and SIA, we will become the organization we say we want to be, one with more members and supporters and a greater capacity to serve women and girls. And lastly, I know that Seroptimist will rise fearlessly to this challenge. As a member of the Federation Board, we give a gift of personal significance. And we use this language because we each have different resources. So the gifts that we give will vary from member to member, from club to club, and from region to region. Today, I ask you, do you believe in our mission? Do you believe in our collective impact? Do you believe in our global dream programs have the power to positively transform the lives of 500,000 women and girls? If you do, join me in making a gift to our organization, to Seroptimist, not just your club, but to your region and to SIA. You and I must continue to do everything we can to provide the resources and opportunities to women and girls need to achieve their full potential and live their dreams. Your support towards our big goal now will help to maximize our impact for the years to come. So the portion of this that turns into a conversation is that I would like to hear from you. When we're actually at a conference and walking down the hallway, I have a chance to talk to you guys. I can be sitting at a table while we're actually eating food and have conversations around the table. Or at the end of the day over in the bar, that we have a chance to sit down and just talk. And in this virtual environment, it makes it so much harder to actually get that chance. So I would like to hear from you. I would like to know if you have any questions of me, if there's anything in particular you would like to ask. I mean, I can talk more, but I would like to get some feedback at the same time. Suzanne, do you have any ideas on starting this conversation with me?
Yes, I do. And you know, I'm so tempted to make my response to you right now of because what you're saying really resonates with me. Um, when we were having our conversation the other night, you know, I remember when Governor Melanie came and visited our club, and I think the question that I asked her was, so you know, what's it like being governor? And so she gave a little, you know, talk about that, and Melanie's message is anybody can be governor, you know, anybody can be governor. And I asked you a little bit about that at when we had our board chat, and I think I'd like actually folks to know what it's like being on the board, and also what we talked about, where you gave us a lot of information about how the board has needed to respond during the pandemic. And I know that we've gotten you know, we've gotten lots of communication from headquarters, and you know, lots of toolkits and suggestions, and there's been big discussions about, you know, meet, not meet, etc. So just, yeah, just give us a little, you know, I'd love to get a little inside look at the workings of the SIA board.
Fair enough. It has been very rewarding, very challenging at the same time. Right now, it's a 2-year term when you come on the board. And during that 2 years, we commit to going to 4 meetings twice a year for 2 years. And so we had the January board meeting. And so I made one board meeting. and the pandemic hit. Since the pandemic has hit, we've had no less than 10 board meetings via Zoom. I don't know about all of you guys as to how much time you've had a chance to be on Zoom, but let me tell you, that's a lot of chair time. And just as I said here, you don't get that chance of walking around and having conversations because headquarters and the board immediately had to start meeting. We had to address the pandemic. You know, the whole world shut down. Now what? I know that your region suffered, that you lost clubs, and we basically lost about 16% of our membership this last year. It was huge because some members flat out said, hey, what am I getting out of it? We're not meeting, we're not doing anything, so why would I want to be spending my money? And that was sad because they joined because they believed in our mission. And I hope that after this pandemic's over, that everyone will reach out to the people around them that they know have left Seroptimist and reminded them why they had joined to begin with. During this time, we spent a lot of time talking to the lawyers, to the insurance companies, we were getting expert consultations from a lot of people, shall we say, trying to do the right thing. And when you consider we're trying to do the right thing in 21 countries, it became really very challenging. It's one of the few times in which I really saw some cultural differences in the board, especially at the rate that the pandemic was and wasn't spreading. In some places, you know, we all were listening to the news and how it was spiking here, but not there. And so if you were in an area that wasn't spiking, you were like, why can't we meet? We're fine here. Meantime, if you were in an area that's spiking, it's kind of like, why are you even talking about Seroptimist? Because we're all shut down. But as was mentioned before, more than ever, we're needed because the domestic violence during these times has just gone up like crazy. And I'm sure one of your speakers that's going to be speaking here shortly, one of your keynote speakers, is going to be addressing the fact that the women and girls that we serve, they are really under the gun more than ever before. And it's a sad testament to our society. Pick your country of society because it comes all back to the same thing of what's been happening. So we have actively been trying to do what's best. That the board is members, just like you and I. Just as Suzanne said, anyone can be a governor, anyone can run for the region board. The only difference is that I decided to take that next step and put my name out there and put my, throw my hat in the ring, of which anyone can do. Anyone can step up to the region level. Anyone can step up to the federation level. You just have to want to put in a little bit more commitment. Not that you're not all very committed. It's just to a bigger group. Because when I was at the region level, I actually did 2 terms as treasurer. And I found that to be extremely rewarding because I had a chance to touch the 60 clubs in my region and help 60 clubs. I love my club, make no mistake. I absolutely love my club. But I had a chance to make a bigger impact. And from there, I went on to be governor. And from that, I realized that, we do have a bigger organization. And I was able to throw my hat in again and become on the board. The frustrating part about being on the board right now is that every single one of my trips got canceled. This is the only way I have met anybody through the Federation is through Zoom. You have several Federation board members in your region, Dana and Angela and Sharon, and they can all tell you about going out and meeting Seroptimist and enjoying the time with Seroptimist. And I was so looking forward to that. but that's neither here nor there. I was here at this time for a reason, and I hope that you as Seroptimists understand that the Federation Board are Seroptimists just like you and have been struggling to make and do the best for all of us and the best for our organization. And as far as commitment goes, Sharon Fisher has taken on the biggest commitment of out there as far as I'm concerned in this organization. And I thank her every day for stepping up and doing that, because she is definitely a superwoman in my book. Through this all too, it reminded me regarding membership that we do have membership chairs. We have them at the region level, we have them at our club level. But I would like to remind everyone that membership is not just the membership chair's responsibility, it's all of our responsibility. And I would challenge each of you that if you know someone in your club, or even the region, because I was listening to conversation beforehand and a lot of you know each other from different clubs. Have you reached out lately and said hi? How's it going? Are you still, engaged? Is there anything I can help you with? Do you want to just talk? Because a phone call that says, do you know I'm here and I care and I haven't seen you in a while and I want you to know you were noticed being gone is really important. And with over 300 people, members in your region, the region membership chair can't be calling it 300 people. Okay. Then you get down to the club level and you have your membership chair in your club. Your club might be small, it might be big, but should she really be the only one making those phone calls? Because let's face it, it means something if someone calls and say, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while, just checking on you. Think about it if you were to get that phone call. It means something. And through this whole time, we've disconnected because we haven't been able to meet. And the way that we start reconnecting, now that we're able to start meeting again, is to make that point of reaching out to each other. Hi, Suzanne.
I just wanted to add something to what you were saying, Jackie, and that is headquarters asked leadership throughout SIA to make some of those phone calls, and so I called, I think, someone in California, somebody in, I can't remember, Pennsylvania, somebody someplace else, Ohio or something, and these are just random Seroptimists. And it was so interesting because, as Seroptimists, we, and especially as Seroptimist International of the Americas members, we're all kind of, familiar with the DREAM programs and this and that. And so there is some consistency, but there's also all these other interesting things to learn from talking to another Seroptimist who's far away. And well, we do this at our club. And, oh, what a good idea! And hearing people's stories too. I mean, the folks who know me know that I'm all about stories and just how, whether it's how the pandemic hit them, whether it's what their little town is like, just their Seroptimist story. Oh gosh, I talked to one woman, a younger woman, who is a fairly new Seroptimist and has lots of ideas. And she reminded me of, I can't actually remember who it is in our region who said to me one time, Seroptimist is the gift I give myself. And no matter what happens in my life, I'm never giving up that membership. And she just reminded me of that. So it's just an awesome opportunity to connect with people. I think it's a great idea. I wanted to suggest, I've got a couple of comments from other folks. I'm going to ask Diane, who put something in the chat, to just come on and say something, and Linda Gilzian, come on and say something. And anybody else who, if something jumps into your head, just write your name in the chat, and I will call on you, because I think it's just really important to have this kind of back and forth, and I'm just so immensely grateful to Jackie for having this be your the process that you want to follow. Um, so Diane, what was it that you were going to say?
Well, I was going to say, it's not a question, but it's an observation. Anytime I've ever had dealings with headquarters where I've had a concern or a question or something wasn't working right or we needed some information, every time I have contacted them, they have been so very helpful. It's been absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to say thank you.
I will pass that along. That's, very important that, trust me, the board hears a lot of the gripes, but we don't hear a lot of the compliments. I know that I've never really had a problem when I've contacted SIAs as a member, and it's important that they actually hear that as well as, the other side. Thank you.
And Linda Gilzian, just turn your video on and start talking, and Zoom will find you, and our tech support people will find you. And
okay. I just was making an observation that although we haven't been able to get together, we have been able to reach out through via Zoom, which has been a blessing. Although for those we have club members that are not technical at all, so they don't have cell phones, they don't have computers, and that has proved to be a little bit more of a challenge. But apparently we're going back in time with letters and the written and phone calls, so very much so, but it does take a lot of time to maintain contact, a lot of time.
And that's why, as was said before, many hands make lighter work, and that's where it really makes a difference. I know that there was a class I took at one time in which it was an etiquette class, to be perfectly honest. And it wasn't that long ago because email was still around. It was already around. And it said, if you want to say something to someone, a thanks, you pick up the phone and you say, hey, thanks. If you want them to know no, try this the other way. If you want to say thanks, you just drop them a quick email saying thanks, because you could do it at your convenience. If you want them to know that it really was important, you pick up the phone, because now you're paying attention to their time and contacting them to say thanks. If you want someone to know in this day and age that you really, really appreciated it and it really mattered, you pay for postage and you send them a card or a letter, because we don't do that anymore. The things that usually come in the mail are junk mail and bills.
so true, so true. I feel like the moderator of a phone-in show. This is exactly what this is like, right? So Linda Cunliffe, our other Linda, because I know that you've been all over the place on Zoom, Linda. So just, throw in your comment there. And again, just start talking, turn on your video and
my video won't turn on. I just actually talked to, oh, there I am. There I am. Well, I've been loving the fact that we can just travel the world and meet other Seroptimists and go to their events. And I understand that we want to be connected again, person to person. I mean, we all want that. And it's going to be a wonderful day when we can do it. But in the meantime, we have the technology and we have the opportunities to be involved with Seroptimists in a way that we haven't ever before. I'm loving the connections we have with Eastern Canada these days. I've been a Seroptimist for 25 plus years, and I never really knew that much about Eastern Canada region. And I'm connected now with Bonnie. I attended one day of their conference this week. Just finding out so much about them. The virtual club is exciting once we get that going, and we have some amazing women who are just geared up, ready to go, just finding their last few members so that they can get chartered. we've met these challenges in the past in other ways. And this is just another challenge that we have to overcome.
Mhm.
And we're doing it. We're here. We're here today. We were here last year.
Yep.
And we're not going anywhere. And so we just have to, we have to be patient, and we just have to keep our members engaged as much as possible. You're so right, Jackie. Cards and phone calls are so important because some people, either they're not that technically savvy, or they just are feeling left out or isolated. And so yes, let's keep in touch with them. I will admit I'm not the best person in the world to always do that, but our membership chair, Marilyn Kelly, is always on top of that. And I know she reaches out to a lot of the members. And so we can all make those phone calls and keep in touch. We'll get through this, and hopefully next year we'll all be in Victoria. I'm very excited about our 100th anniversary celebrations this coming fall. We can do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I saw a comment that Dana would like to say something.
Yes.
Hi, Jackie. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about
Oh, you've cut out.
there we go. Got me?
Okay, you're back.
Okay. Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
I would like to talk about something that I think is in a bit different way about COVID, and about what's happened is that we have all had to pivot, and we have had to push ourselves into directions that we never ever dreamed that we would do that, and that makes me think about our next 100 years. And I think about how we've had to step up, like we who would have thought this ever would have happened to us, right? And we've had to embrace new stuff, new technology, and so I think that for me this I feel pretty good about our next 100 years. And I think about if we can do this, right, we can totally turn everything around, right, and find a new way to do this. What will our next 100 years, that I think we're starting off on a good foot for our next 100 years,
I agree with you. I think that we will never be back to normal of what we used to. And I don't think we should, to be perfectly honest. I think your online club is great. I think it's got a better chance than any of the previous online clubs because it's being launched during the Zoom era, of which this is now normal. Before this point, it was definitely not normal. This has now become part of our new normal. And I think that there's going to be a lot of changes on how we do a lot of things, which does remind me too, is that I hope everyone's had a chance to go and find the toolbox that's out at SIA when we did this pivoting about 6-8 months ago that it came out, that we've asked them to, keep it live, keep it fresh, keep more stuff being added to it, because it's important that we don't give up what we have now found as new ways of doing things. Even going back to regular meetings doesn't mean that we need to cut this off, because I know down here in my area, we've got people moving left and right. They don't have to live where they're working anymore. California actually, for the first time in decades, has decreased their population. That's because they're going everywhere else. But with that being the case, I've been listening to some other clubs during their conferences in which their members have done the same thing. They've moved, but they've stayed members. And they're members that they're able to do it all online. They're able to help solicit, donations online. They're able to do membership online because they're able to get it organized, and they're able to contact people online. So it's been really great. And there will always be members who are not excited about being on here. And so we need to make sure that we always adapt for them as well. But I see that we definitely have a future, and we just need to continue adapting and keep moving forward with it too. I do have another question though for everyone. I don't want to take any steam out of something else, but there is the Big Goal Accelerator program that's being put out here. And what that's about is opening up the dream programs a little bit more. Instead of it just being dream it, be it, and live your dream, this new one will now bring in projects that are also education oriented. It's starting kind of narrow, and this is something we talked about at the board meeting. It's starting kind of narrow, but I will say, make sure you keep putting putting it out there, submitting your programs that you're doing, and just keep it going forward. Keep putting it in there. Keep letting them know what kind of projects you're doing. It's really important for headquarters to hear what the clubs are doing outside of Dream It, Be It, and Live Your Dreams. So as we said, it's a little narrow right now, and we're going to have to just see what changes. But the only way anything ever changes is by people putting it out there. So be sure to be constantly submitting all of your information so those numbers can be counted, because the 500,000 is really not something outside of the scope of reasonable. If you think about all the projects that we're doing that are not Dream It, Be It, and Live Your Dream. So please be sure to just get them in there, okay?
Yes, I wanted to follow up that question. First of all, yay, Anusha is joining us. That's so great. I hope you've had a lovely nap, Anusha, and are ready to rock and roll. And on the Big Goal Accelerator projects, I wanted to find out who's read the materials that's come from headquarters about that, and what comments you have. And I was also, I'm just going to put that out there for folks to think about for a minute. But I really would like to hear some comments about what are the other projects that your club does that besides the dream programs that you really are passionate about. I mean, I remember, and Jackie and I talked about this the other evening. I remember when headquarters sort of came down like a ton of bricks and said, scrap everything else, in not so many words, right? Very nicely, but basically said, scrap everything else, just focus on the dream programs. And got so much pushback, right? That now there's this, I forgot the name was Big Goal Accelerator Projects. I call them the Dream Accelerator Projects. I think that's a much better name, but okay. Big Goal Accelerator Projects. Anyways, so and as Jackie said, it's a bit of a narrow definition, but so what are the projects that people have that you think really do accelerate the dreams of women and girls? And come on and get those names in the chat, because I would love for Jackie to hear some of the examples of the amazing stuff that you do. And actually, I'm going to put some people on the spot here. Colleen Schmidt, why don't you talk about what Abbotsford Mission does at Glory House? Because that's one cool example.
Yes, well, we have a long-standing relationship. We actually inherited this from SI of the Tri-Cities. Glory House is a residential treatment program for women, and they moved from the Tri-Cities area out to Mission, must be at least 6 years ago, if not more. And it's a small house, and the unique thing is women can stay there as long as they need to. So it's not a set time frame of a program. So we started out by doing once a month a craft night, and the crafts was just a way to get into the house and to get conversation going. And it's become, I don't know, it's very dear to my heart. And I know several of our members just love it because until COVID, we would go once a month, we would take a craft of some type. And the conversation was just brilliant. And we've been able to use some of the things we learned even with Dream It Be It. I mean, the women are far out of the age range of Dream It Be It, but face it, a lot of them missed out on that growing up phase and are 30 going on 13. So even the idea of setting goals for your life, setting, short-term goals, long-term goals, we've been able to use some of the Dream It Be It curriculum informally, which was great. And then it branched out. We now have a closet, which was inspired by the other closets in the region, where we give women household items. And we won a grant through our Sir Optimus Foundation of Canada to start a garden. So we're teaching the women how to garden and grow food. And we're getting smarter about it. The first few years we were doing a lot of the work. Now we are doing a lot of delegating, and the residents at Glory House are the labor, and we're more the decoration. Well, I'm the decoration. Some of the other members actually garden, but I do not. So I go as a cheerleader. But it's been a beautiful project, and I love it.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That's definitely the kind of thing that we're talking about. My club right now is developing a project that is using the Dream It Be It for women that will be released from prison within the next 2 years.
Oh, cool.
Because we've got the same kind of thing. These are women that missed out on that. Their life went sideways on them. They are to the point in which they're about to be released. And we're working right now through administration to get us permission to go in and do this, where it looks like it might happen this year. Well, we got stopped because of COVID, but it really looks like that once all this comes up, that we will be able to go in. In the meantime, we do a Dream It Be It with a foster home here in town. So that's really great, because Dream It Be It has so much that can go and be used by women outside that realm. Some of them younger, a lot of them older. Those women that have been homeless and such, or have gone through domestic violence, like you said, have missed all that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Jackie. Shari, Tri-Cities. Okay, and I hope that we've got bunches of people. Yes, we do have bunches of people wanting to share their projects. So
I'm happy to do so. Our club runs a ton of hands-on projects. Some might say a crazy amount of hands-on projects, but and normally, we would be interacting with people a lot with those, but of course this year we haven't been able to do that. Of course, we run our own version of the closet, which is Bee's Closet. We do our Warm Place for Women normally, which are dinners monthly, but Julie Nisley, who's the chair of that committee, co-chair of that committee, has totally pivoted it to turn it into a hamper delivery service, where we've been handing out food to families who would normally come to Warm Place every single week, in partnership with a couple of other food services for people struggling with food insecurity. So it's that's just brilliant. We've managed to still have connections with those other projects that we do, usually hands-on. We do another recovery house called Westminster House, where we do craft nights usually, but we've given them little presents over the course of the year. The same thing with Cabby School, which is a school for at-risk youth. They have a teen mom program there that we usually do a lunch and learn, and we've been able to still keep that connection with some of those girls. And I think they're actually going to be giving 1 or 2 scholarships to the girls in that program. Suwalk, which is a school primarily for Indigenous youth. We also have a sort of afternoon program that we normally run with them. So all of these programs are we're finding ways to be able to continue connections with these people, even though we can't meet face to face. And they all have an element, I think, of whether it's a direct connection to education, it's in a lot of ways removing barriers to education, which I think is also just as important. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Shari.
Thank you.
And Linda Cunliffe, Surrey Delta. Just quick look. Start talking and
Well, we have, I mean, we've never not continued. Oh, hang on a sec, gotta start the bit. Oh, there I am. We've never given up of our community-based programs or projects. And we continue to do our baby layettes, which we put together on a yearly basis and distribute 25 or 30 of them to our community single moms who are in need. This past year, we've had the most exciting project, sending the reusable menstrual hygiene kits to our sister club in Kenya. And that's a very exciting project. And we've picked up a couple sponsors for that program. So one of our members, Karen Pearson, has a factory over in India with her real company that she owns. And they make the kits. And we've had permission from Days for Girls to use their patterns. And so they make the kits. And I believe we sent 450 over this year to SI Nairobi. And they distributed them to the girls. And that's exciting. And we're going to continue doing that. A lot of our members belong to different community-based committees in Surrey and Delta. And so we attend those meetings and we find out what the community needs and how we can best respond to it. Through our BC Gaming Grant, we can financially support quite a few women-based organizations in the community, and we keep in touch with them. And there again, always learning about what's going on in our community so that we can respond in kind. And I think, to me, one of the important things is, yes, we know education is extremely important, but I still think the social empowerment that we give women is just as critical as the economic empowerment, because a lot of women are in the position where they're not ready to move on to their economic empowerment yet. They maybe just be leaving a transition house or getting through an addiction recovery program or wherever they are in their life. And they still need a lot of support moving from that spot into the area where they are ready to move on to economic empowerment. If you're homeless, you don't get up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to go enroll in school today and apply for a grant, because you're not ready to do that. Your tummy is empty. Your kids need feeding. You need to find a home. Those, I think, are still really important issues that we have to continue to address before we can move on to the economic empowerment and the education component. And so, yeah, to me, the social empowerment is extremely important.
But some of those things that you were just saying there can come back and dovetail with the fact that I have a club here in my region that goes to the homeless shelter, the women's homeless shelter here once a month. And they created a program called Money Manners. They teach them how to make a budget. They teach them how to go grocery shopping. They teach them how to reconcile a checkbook. They teach them, I mean, this is all part of what you're talking about, is they've finished and they're trying to get, and that's all education. Education doesn't mean going to a college. And that's the thing in which I think sometimes kind of like gets lost in the, in what's being said, is that education is not just going to school. Education is learning. It is the process of learning. It is those women you're just now talking about. It would be a going in and doing a cooking class with them, or taking them to the store and showing them how to comparison shop, because for some of those people, they've got no clue that, you know, you can comparison shop. You can look at different things and find cheaper prices, and you can look at the you know, and all that kind of stuff. That's all part of education. That's all part of where we at. Taking a left turn in the conversation for just a moment there, you brought up something that I'm going to throw in my, you know, sidetrack on this, is that you made a comment to the fact that teaming up with different organizations in your community. And so here's my plug, is that in the last few years, all of your clubs have not been donating through club giving. And everyone needs to remember that SIA is also a nonprofit. We are part of you, and we're part of a nonprofit as well. And what I found is that that kind of gets forgotten sometimes. And so I'm throwing it out there. Please add club giving to your budgets, because club giving is doing all the same things. It's doing all this great support that we're going through and doing. And club giving is not going to pay to keep the lights on at headquarters. Club giving is going back and showing up in the form of that Live Your Dream award that I was speaking to for Suzanne, and your region winners. That's where the club giving money comes back to you, that the regions really do benefit from that. So I had to throw that in, sorry.
Can I respond to that, just in the sense that I thought that Western Canada had 100% success in club giving. I know we do in our own fundraising, but with our BC gaming grants, we're not allowed to send that to SIA. That has to stay within our community or within the province. And so our BC gaming grant, number one, we get a grant to help us with our Live Your Dream Awards. And then we supplement it with our own fundraising. And the rest of it goes directly to organizations in our communities. And we're not allowed to send that outside the country or the province. So those are very restricted funds.
Well, absolutely. In a restricted fund, you do what your restricted fund says, but then you also have community fundraisers.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at.
Treasurer. Okay, Linda, thank you so much. I'm going to do my radio phone in host thing and say, Sherry Smith, I really want you to say a few words about your period promise and you know how that relates to education, because education is the foundation of the big goal accelerator project.
Thanks. First thing I want to say is there was a wise woman yesterday at another conference. She's the owner of some hotels here, and she said, talking about your successes isn't bragging, it's telling your story. So this is just wonderful that we all need to brag about what we do. We have to continue to brag about what we do, because people are going to find out about us. So that's kind of what we did with the period promise. Even though we are partnering with the United Way of Central Alberta, the original idea came from us, straight from our club. We wanted to do something. We are the ones that applied for a grant at the Fund for Gender Equality, because this was one of the avenues in that grant that we could utilize. And because we're not a registered charity, we had to partner with somebody else to help us with the application. And in the beginning, that's all that they did. They were just going to help us, but then they became just as passionate about it as we are. So our fund granted us over $20,000 to install dispensers and free menstrual hygiene products in 4 schools in Central Alberta, actually in Red Deer. And they went into every single washroom. There's 63 washrooms we outfitted. Boys washrooms, girls washrooms, non-gender washrooms, and staff washrooms. So the whole idea of our period promise campaign is to keep them in the school. There are many, many people across Canada, across the world, who suffer period poverty. And if we can keep the people who menstruate able to come to school and continue their education, that's what our whole goal was. I see that the Tri-Cities is part of the period promise in British Columbia as well. And we are following with the United Way their entire project that they started in British Columbia, because they have all schools in British Columbia are outfitted with menstrual hygiene products for free. We want that to happen in Alberta. So I'm bragging now, we are the first club in Alberta that is doing it. And we are the first region that are putting products in the schools, into the public schools. So as far as I know, we are, right? So I know there are other school districts that are now being involved. We've got a movement going in Alberta now, all across Alberta, that is just going to be huge, and we're going to have great successes with this. But you know what, we started it and I'm going to brag about it. And but that's what the whole goal is. It's hard to get sometimes a school district, the entire school district, to put them in every single school and every single washroom. We started with just 4, and they are so passionate about it. They came on board right away, and our members, I have to send a shout out to my members who are just so great in getting behind this project and trying to raise as much money and as many products as we can to give away to the people who need them. And that's what we have to still continue to do. It kind of goes along the same line as Linda. We're helping those people so that they continue to go to work. They can continue to go to school. They can continue to be part of our community. And that's what we have to do.
Right on.
Fabulous.
Thank you,
Fabulous.
Carrie. And I just, before I call on Ching to tell us about their podcast, I just want to say 2 things. One is a conversation that came up, I think, at the Eastern Canada region about, and Linda mentioned, sending stuff to girls in Kenya so that they can continue to go to school with menstrual products. And that, 2 things, it's outside of our federation, but we think that those numbers should count because they're girls and we're helping them to get educated. So that's kind of a plug I want to put in. And also that the conversation that our board had with Jackie was about addressing the barriers to education that exist, and that is just, we think, a very important piece of accelerating the green programs. So I just wanted to note that. So, okay, so Ching, quickly, tell us about the podcast program. So cool.
Yeah, last November, we just had our Dreamy Bee Career Conference on Zoom with high school girls. We learn a lot. We learn a lot from the high school girls. We learn what they want. What they want is to know more about college experience. They want to have some advice about the life challenges they're facing. So we think the episode 2 for the Dreamy Bee program, probably we can have an ongoing, year-round ongoing way to connect with high school girls, and maybe podcast the easy way to connect with high school girls. We also still running the Valley Richardson Award, and we got 4 recipients this year. So we invite them to be the podcast interviewees. They discuss all together how they facing the difficulty during the COVID. They think the mental stress is very, very tough in schools, and they discuss how they encounter and how they overcome the mental issues. And then they talk about their volunteer work, how their volunteer work will affect the way they try to pick their career choices. So those kind of discussions are very, very valuable for us as adults too. And then we also have our former Valley Richardson Award recipient who just graduated from high school talk about how she applied the scholarship, the resources, and how she found the job in digital marketing. And we also have invited some life coaches, and I think that's a easy way and to connect with high school students year round. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to talk.
Thank you.
And Anita, you are Anita Kanzi. You guys are on the Period Promise train as well with the University of Alberta. And this is so interesting because it's not just high school students, but university. So just give us a little quick comment on that.
Sure. So it's been a couple years now. It's not part of the Period Promise. We had been approached by the University of Alberta Students Union, and we agreed to help them, so we contributed to their project, and they are putting baskets of menstrual supplies out at the university, and we also have our little logo on there um, for people to know, and maybe that way we'll get some university students interested in Seroptimist as well. So it's kind of a win-win. And then, yeah, another thing we're doing is we're working with Give Back Edmonton, who the lady who runs that has become a Seroptimist recently, and she has had the first free thrift store in Edmonton for many years now. And basically, she just runs it out of her garage. And in the summer, she even provides Cobb's bread and sometimes eggs and whatever has come in. And so we're working with her on trying to build a closet type situation with them.
That's
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's just a couple of the projects. And we're also trying to work with Alberta Avenue Community League, which is that area of Edmonton is lower income, and a lot of Indigenous people at that community league. So we're trying to work with them. They have on Thursdays they have a hub night, which obviously we haven't been able to do much with lately. But we're looking at having some of their younger folk attend our Dream It Be It event, which might be a hybrid one if a lot of those children don't necessarily have access to technology at home. So we're gonna work through Alberta Avenue to see if maybe the children can be socially distanced and participate that way.
Very cool. All right. Thank you. And
Thank-
Hanukkah, I didn't mean to jump over you. So your summer camp, and make a case, Hanukkah, for why the summer camp should count as a big goal accelerator project.
I can't start my video, so anyway, it doesn't matter. Can I start my video now? No. Can I start? No.
No worries.
Oh, right. Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, our summer camp is something that we started about 2-3 years ago. Ran it for 2 years, couldn't do it last year, won't be able to do it this coming year. But it's been a fabulous camp, a great way for our Live Your Dream girls to actually connect together with their families. The children all get together, they get to know each other. It's a great bonding experience for these women who often feel isolated. And they all have common challenges, and they meet up for a weekend. It's usually the first weekend in September. So we're looking forward to not this September, but the following September, just to restart that program. And it's fabulous. We really love it, and it's yeah, we just so enjoy it. But we have lots of other programs we've been doing, Suzanne. Community projects that we've been really thinking about what can we do in COVID where we can still engage the members. So we've had spring projects where we've been collecting goods for handbags, purses, donating them to the drop-in centers in our local community, that kind of thing. And there's a lot going on. We're really excited. We still keep going.
Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you, Hanukkah. And I want to get Carrie Stoneberg in here from New West Burnaby, one of our newest clubs, and just your work with Charleford House. And so Carrie, what's been your, the experience of the club there, and how you think that really is either social or economic empowerment for the women who you're reaching there?
Okay.
Yeah, New Westminster Burnaby volunteer with the Charlotte House, transition house. And it's a group of 15 women that are in drug and alcohol transitioning and rehab. And we go when we can, once a month to help them with crafts. And then they have a second step group that are close to going back into society. And we do work with their financial planning and time management, and just figure out what they want to hear from us. And we have one of our ex-members is a bank manager, so she talks about finance, and then another one is does a lot to do with time management. So we ask them what they want to learn. And then also when they graduate from the program, they are given a blanket. And the Girl Guide Society club used to make them in Burnaby, but they disbanded. And they asked if we could do the blankets. So we made, I think we've done about 10 of them so far. They're really easy to make. They're just fleece blankets, and you tie them together. You don't need any sewing. And those have been an unbelievable. Every graduating woman just love it. So it's just to see their reactions is just amazing. So, and
all right, I'm going to stop you there, Carrie. I'm going to stop you there because I want to get in one more person. And
okay.
It's fantastic, and it's so interesting how sometimes those little touches, like a fleece blanket, just make such a difference. Okay, Liz from SI White Rock, your restart program. You got about 2 minutes to tell us about that. So just start talking, and Zoom will find you. Not actually Zoom, it's our amazing tech support, Emma.
It's just now unmuted me. And we're reaching 16 years of our restart program, and we're still going strong. It was fairly quiet last year during COVID because a lot of people didn't find that they could move out because they couldn't find anywhere to move to. So we didn't need to give the restart kits, but it seems to be starting up again now. And I can't believe I've been doing it for 16 years, but it's very much appreciated by all the women that we give the kits to. Okay.
Thank you so much, Liz. Okay, we've got a ton more comments in the chat, which is really wonderful. And we've got Veronica Lote, who is up to her eyeballs in her own life, offering to put together a list. So we will work on that. Okay, Jackie, last word to you.
Thank you very much for sharing all that. There were some great ideas, and I really like the list there, the idea at the bottom there, putting a list together so everyone in the region can share it and have these notes. As we put it in our region, we lovingly lift ideas all the time. Let's not reinvent the wheel. And there's some really great projects and ideas out there that need to be shared. They simply need to be shared. Thank you very much for having me. I've really enjoyed this today, and the fact that you've all participated. Thanks.
Well, it falls to me to say thank you to you, Jackie, and I really am so excited to have that honor. You know, what you said at the beginning about Live Your Dream Awards changing lives, and the tears that come to your eyes when you get to call a Federation region winner. And you know, I went to, I think 4, 5, including my own clubs, Live Your Dream Awards ceremonies. And I don't know if there's like, you know, we're essentially giving out scholarships. I was saying this to my husband Dolph last night, but you know, does any other organization really bring these women forward and make a huge deal out of them and say, you are awesome and we so believe in you and you can do this? And I you know, I'm not sure that that's the case. But I know that that is what is the life changer for women. I think our dream programs, the Live Your Dreams, the Dream It Be It. Yes, education is the best tool to transform a life, a woman's life. And we all know that when you transform a woman's life, you're also transforming the life for her family and her community. And so I think in addition to the individual awards that we give out, I'm just thinking about the collective impact of having 500,000 women and girls empowered to, that is what will bring gender equality to our society. So I totally agree with that. And I'm so grateful, Jackie, for you having a conversation here and being open to what folks want to know from the board and want the board to know. So thank you. And I hope you will stay for the rest. I think you're going to stay for the rest of the conference and learn some more and have some more fun. So thank you very much. And thank you everybody for your contribution. And we will make sure that we capture what's in the chat.